Hi there, welcome to Hackney. This is the bookshelf area. It gives free rein to my collecting habits. These bottles I found on a rubbish heap in Portugal when I was at a wedding. Look at this lovely thing, a flocked twig. I haven't thought about being a curator, but essentially I suppose that's what it is. Is curating grouping? I'm a grouper. As I said, anything more than 3 and it starts to sort of gather more of the same to it. This is my first pond, which has a good family of fish and their offspring in it. They don't need feeding, but we do feed them sometimes. So this one has got at least 6 newts in it as well, but they tend to be visible at night time with the bike torch. The only one who's got a name is the one in that pond, the biggie. That would be a good one if I went in, wouldn't it? I do as much rearranging things here as I do in the house, actually. I like this sort of growing pavement type thing. I don't really like diagonals. I like a mess within a grid, I suppose. Freedom inside a sort of a fairly formal framework. Sometimes, if it's miserable weather outside, you can still bring some of the niceness of the garden inside. You can always put a collection of something together. It's all about collections, isn't it? Over the years, this guy, Duncan McCaskill, who does mail art, sent me all of these and quite a lot more as well, in fact. I don't think it can happen anymore because Royal Mail don't accept things like this or that. If I was going away, he liked me to send them back to him. I think he's got a great touch, and to put it into a postcard size is really nice. The wind quite often takes them off, or the cleaning lady, Mary. They're precious, but I like them like this. Once they're in frames, then they start to somehow get a bit pretentious. And this is not pretentious. This painting was painted for my 30th birthday. So that's my son Hamish when he was less than 1. I think we were in Gozo. That's the actual photo which I found recently. And it's painted by Theo Platt, who's my brother-in-law of my ex. It was unveiled at Stringfellows, where unfortunately my 30th surprise birthday party was held. Except the cat was out of the bag already because somebody who worked for me, her son, said, "You all right, Ally? You going up Stringfellows later?" I love this one. I don't know how old she must have been, but my daughter, Aggie, we were talking about doing self-portraits. I mean, she must have been quite young. And she just took up this piece of charcoal and said, "Oh, I'm going to do one." And then drew herself as she thought it. And then when she looked at it, she was so disappointed that it didn't look at all like her, that she wanted to throw it away. But there's something absolutely alluring about it. I don't know what it is, but I've had it pinned on the wall, and finally I framed it recently. I think it's great. She actually can draw like an angel as well now. Do angels draw? This is the kitchen table, which was originally the counter of our shop in Wardour Street. In those days it was about this high, stained black, and it looked very different. It was very posh. Now it's on a couple of old habitat trestles, but it's the hub of everything really. I get my sewing machine out on here and a bit of pattern cutting. I'm considering not just being a bag lady at the moment, but a sort of a t-shirt lady too. Got a bit stained, but it just sort of builds up a general used look, which I think suits this house. Everything's a bit used. This is a bodice that was made by a friend of mine called Zoe Miller, who's obviously super creative. It was for a fashion show in probably 93, 94. It's been folded up and put away. It's been worn probably a couple of times for photos and things like that. The quality of whatever the print was right in the first place is intrinsic to what's nice about it. I've never worn it. I think it's too brittle to I don't know, would you like me to try it on? I didn't do any pre-arranging of what was hanging on the walls in and when I see it in film I might want to move it. This table was half of a cable thing, the big things that they put electricity cables on. I found it in Mile End Park in the bushes. Recently I upgraded it, so it's only 25 years old probably. And I painted it this putty colour, and then even more recently I've stood it on these papercrete blocks. I just pick up stuff that I can't bear the thought of it being thrown away. Everything has got a bit of an emotional attachment, I think. I suppose it's repurposing. I haven't ever thought about it, really. I'm just a gatherer of crap. Those were my 7 or so wonders. Thanks for coming. Laters.
The Modern House, selling thoughtfully designed homes across the UK.